Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Airways Trades. I'm here again to give you guys another market update on the SPYs at QQs as well as a few core lists of companies. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my analysis of where I think we're heading, my thoughts, my analysis of the stock market. And just like last week, not really just like last week, um, simply put, seems to be a lot of indecision across the market, right? From last week's trading section, there was an FOMC meeting which took place last Wednesday, which was the second leading into November, right? And just to bring you guys up to speed and where we're sitting at right now is following economic news. There was an FOMC meeting where Jerome Powell released a statement saying that he was going to have a 0.75 basis interest rate hike. Obviously, higher interest rates leads to lower markets, and the market reacted negatively. And he believes that there's going to be it was a hawkish statement, and the market sold off the tech sector last week. So this was the second, right? Leading into this was the first, right? Leading first of all, November 1st, beginning of the month, first day, fresh start. We had a major rejection of 390. We sold off. Market opened up here in this region around 390 again. That's when Jerome Powell made a statement, which was Wednesday on the 2nd, saying that he's going to do a 0.75 basis interest rate hike, which led to this overall immense selling pressure that took place. And then we had this indecision doji, and now we're currently sitting right back above 385, now at the 390 region, which is resistance. But why is this important? Because there seems to be a lot of back and forth between buyers and sellers. Sellers are bears really are taking control of the market, trying to push the markets lower, but buyers bulls are able to push the market up higher, and of course negate the SPY falling below 363, which is where we saw, or 348 here. This candle here is where we saw all-time lows for the year for SPY. But bulls were able to step up and push the market up back higher, and now we're kind of sitting in this sideways chop. If I zoom out on the daily, or go ahead and show you guys my drawings, we're kind of sitting here in this chop zone of 390 to 370. And I want to elaborate a little bit further when it comes to technicals and patterns. And as you guys can see, this blue line shows a rising wedge pattern, and which led to this downfall from the beginning of the month of November to the FOMC statement and where we're currently at, right? We sold off, confirmed this pattern, and now we're sitting back up. Why? Because we have a cup and handle formation as well, which is a bullish, rising wedge pattern is bearish. Bullish is cup and handle. We have this cup here, and we're possibly forming this handle here around this region here. Let me go ahead and get the drawing again. Handle somewhere around this region, right? And this here. It's not pretty. It's not the best, but I mean, we guess you can say we had a failed cup and handle here, but we have a bull flag here, possibly forming here. I'll go ahead and show you guys in a smaller time frame, but it's a lot of back and forth information and readings that I'm getting, especially, there was bearish divergence last week, which is what somebody mentioned in the comment section. But I was mostly eyeing on this rising wedge pattern here, which I caught last minute, which was believed was during Tuesday's trading session leading on to the FOMC statement. But also we did manage, if I go ahead and bring out the Fibonacci retracements levels, from that sell-off region to now, we did hold up the 50% retracement, which is roughly 370, which was an expected pullback for this cup and handle formation to form. And it's not a bad retracement zone. I was expecting a pullback anyway after this prior move from 364 from the 21st to let that, which was what my video was based off of, right? The bullish movement, buyers stepping in. We rejected 390, which I was not expecting to break and hold anyway. I was just expecting us to reach this pivot here and, expect a pullback to take place, which it did. But again, it's just been a lot of chop going around. And we also have the CPI data, inflation data coming out this Thursday, which again, as I say in my every video, the major economic news, inflation data, CPI numbers this Thursday, 8:30 in the morning, are going to reveal exactly if the market's going to remain bullish or bearish. Not only that, if these readings are going to signal that the December rate hike is going to be 0.75 basis again, or 0.50, which 0.50 is bullish for the market. So a lot of conflicting information here, but I could say that buyers are doing a good job holding above these levels, respecting the cup and handle formation, not letting bears, allowing bears during the FOMC meeting sell off below 370 here, and just chop around in this region again. We're kind of sitting right in the middle, right in the smack middle, and we kind of again hold, or we had this nice 50% retracement pullback at 370, sitting right in the middle, waiting to see exactly where we're going to be heading from here on out. Again, bullish if we break and hold above 390. Bearish if we come back down and maybe to come back to 370 level here. And also, again, a lot of conflicting information. It's kind of hard, and I'm also getting some reads on my indicators that we're kind of having a bullish divergence as well. But it's kind of hard to say, the exact, indication of where we're going. But if CPI numbers come out terribly, we could see possibly a big sell-off back down, maybe possibly lower in the 364 region, maybe possibly back to lows here of 356. Bullish, I don't think, if the numbers come out good, I do believe SPY will break the 390 region. Break up, pull back. I would like to see a retest here of 390 and then a possible, move higher to the, I think this is like the 401 region, 400 region, so on and so forth. But also, regarding patterns and trends, we also have on the 4-hour time frame, we have a head and shoulders pattern forming, which is also bearish, right? We have the left shoulder here. We have the head here. And we also have a right shoulder forming as of Tuesday's trading session that could be possibly forming here, which could lead to a CPI dump as well. But not only that, we also have sorry, I don't mean to be so confusing and convoluting, but I'm trying to give you guys all the scenarios that have kind of been laid out, or, there are some instances of a bull flag scenario, right? It was kind of like, small here. Possible bull flag scenario forming here at this region. I'm not too sure about it. It could be a bull flag here. We have the pull here, from this region to here. We have a bull flag potentially here, maybe a pullback, maybe CPI data reveals, this head and shoulders patterns plays out. We pull back. This region may pump back up. It's a lot of conflicting information. I'm just, I'm more of a patterns person. Of course, indicators play a large role, but, it's a lot of conflicting information altogether. But again, we'll see whether or not the head and shoulders pattern that I just showed you guys plays out. And of course, it's bearish. We're expecting maybe a possible sell-off leading on to CPI data. And that's just what I'm seeing from a smaller time frame perspective. Also, what other instance as well? We could have, again, this is the ascending wedge pattern, rising wedge pattern that led to a fallout. We could also have here a channel in this region here, a possible channel as well. A lot of conflicting information, not trying to confuse you guys, but I'm looking at all the possibilities right now and seeing exactly where we're going to be going. But that's just my overall outtake for the most part on SPY. So yeah, a lot of sideways movement, a lot of indecision. We'll see whether or not we break and hold above 390, bullish. And if not, we're back to this chop zone, chop fest here, 370. We don't want to see the SPY go below 370 again, but we're just waiting to see what CPI data is going to reveal. So we'll see if this head and shoulders pattern plays out, or daily cup and handle formation is going to play out. We also have higher highs and higher lows here. So one could say that we have a kind of like a, a high here, or whoops, I didn't mean to draw that here. We have a high here. We have a high here, right, in this region. Lower high here, higher high here. We also have another lower high here as well. So again, it's just a lot of back and forth information, not a real indication. A lot of conflicting information from the smaller time frame and the bigger time frame. So we'll just see where the overall market's going to be heading. But that's just my outlook. I think we're still going to be bearish, and we'll see what the numbers reveal this Thursday. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and move on to the QQQs. And going into the QQQs, QQQ is kind of lagging behind SPY. Again, FOMC meeting, dump. We closed below, but buyers were able to step up. And now we're kind of on this close above this 370 mark here. Or actually, we rejected the 370 region here. So bullish, if we can get above 380 here in this region, the 380 mark. Bearish, of course, if we head lower and come down here from a smaller time frame. Again, maybe a cup and handle formation here. We pulled back here. Now we retrace higher. If we can break 372, excuse me, it was 372 here, right? Bullish. Also, too, I think we have like some form of like, again, another channel here as well, right? One can say it could be like this, just getting a little creative here. We kind of have like somewhat of a channel here taking place, right? Anything's possible with the market, but as far as my outlook, we have a channel here. We'll just see whether or not QQQ can get above 272, and we'll see if the market can move higher, but only the CPI numbers this Thursday will reveal exactly where we're going. But for the most part, a lot of indecision, and we'll see where the market goes from there, right? And what else here? Let me see if I can go to, if I'm missing anything else here with QQQ. Not really, but again, bear flag here, possibly, channel, a lot of information, but the gist is that if we can get above 380, I would say it's possibly bullish. It is lagging behind QQQ. QQQ is almost, it's a lot higher than the QQQ, so QQQ is definitely lagging behind. I will admit that. So we're possibly, maybe it could be catching up, since QQ or SPY is leading, more than the QQQ. Maybe QQQs are kind of like lagging behind and waiting to catch up later on in the near future. That could be also a possibility as well. But now we're going to take a look at Apple. Excuse me. So we had here a microphone formation here, right? From this region here. This was last week, big sell-off here taking place. We had this massive bullish candle here, right, from last week's trading session. This is where I initially said that buyers did step in. We could be seeing a bull market, but again, with this bull or kind of microphone pattern, we rejected the 156 region right on the dot too, right here. Rejection, rejection, rejection. I wasn't expecting the market to, or it's Apple to break the 156 region, right? We've fallen over. Sellers took control. FOMC statement closed all the way back down here to lows of 134, right? Almost all-time lows for the year for Apple, but buyers were able to step up, and we're kind of like, again, in this chop fest here from I think it was August. So now just in this choppy zone from 136 to 142, bullish above 142. If we can fill the gap reversal here, we could be seeing a dead cat bounce. Maybe we lead to 142 and then we reject and then we fall over. Or if CPI data numbers reveal bullish, if we hold above 142, manage to grind our way back up from this immense selling pressure, we'll see whether or not bulls can, reverse the market and continue to move forward, right? And also, too, if I bring out the Fibonacci retracement zone, and also, too, the core companies are kind of lagging behind as well, We were kind of at this 100% retracement level here, so we'll see if we can reject here. I think that's right. Again, SPY retraced to the 50% level, and it's formed a cup and handle, and it's bullish. Apple broke out, right, from this point here to here, 100% retracement. Where now we're testing the 61.8 retracement, and we'll see whether or not it's a dead cat bounce overall, which I think it possibly will be, especially due to the gravity of the immense selling pressure, which took 3 days to form. From we were at 157, and now we're Monday. What's this Monday or last Friday? We went right back to 134. So this is a lot of work, right? If the market or Apple wants to be bullish, I would say we need to climb all the way back up here to 148 for us to be bullish, right? But we could, again, it could be a dead cat bounce formation here. And also, if we go to the smaller time frame, and I zoom out just a little bit here, right? Let's go ahead and go to the 4-hour time frame. Again, where are we? This is not what I was looking at here. Okay, so this is today's trading session, right? Again, we kind of have a, whoops. Sorry if I'm messing around too much. Again, I think we're waiting for a 142 rejection level here. Retest of 142 area here. Rejection, come back down and, break 136.60. And again, if the SPY is going to form that head and shoulders pattern, I would possibly see maybe a dead cat bounce tomorrow leading into 142, and then a possible follower during CPI data. Also, if I draw out a trend line here as well, maybe from this region to here, we could see a rejection level here at 142, which would roughly be okay. Even if I move it just a tad bit lower here, right? It's still 142 rejection, which is what I'm seeing here, right? So we'll see exactly what happens, but I'm expecting more bearish outcome to take place. Anything's possible, right? But for the most part, buyers are stepping in, refusing to let Apple and the SPY break below, their all-time lows, right? But it's crucial here because if we do break 136 and SPY or the CPI data does come out negative, right? We could see a flush. I mean, it could be immense because although we're sitting above, the 136 level and the 134 level, right? Anything lower than that could expect like more selling pressure to take place. And, we don't want to be at this 124 region or, head lower, which it's possible, but we'll see, right? So again, um, obviously bull trap here, sell off. It's kind of in this indecision, back and forth sideways trading here, from the 136 region to the 142. Break and hold above 142, bullish. If we reject 142, expect lower to 136. And yeah, so again, 100% retracement already. We'll see if Apple can pick itself back up. But given the immense size of the selling pressure, we're kind of accepting these lower prices here. So we'll see if we continue to head lower, so on and so forth, right? So, Tesla. Hammer candle here formation. Obviously, we rejected the 235, or I shouldn't say obviously, I apologize. But again, just like the tech sector, we sold off here during the FOMC statement meeting. We rejected 234-ish, 235. We rejected this resistance level here, this blue line. And now we kind of, gapped down today, or dropped, sold off down here at the 186 region, which was next support here from a weekly perspective, right? This blue line here, right? This kind of pivot here, support, 180, 181 area, 180, 180 area here, right? 186. Hammer candle formation, maybe a possible dead cat bounce, right, to 215. What is this? I'll say like 210, maybe a possible dead cat bounce, rejection, and then fall over again, or we continue to sell off. But I wouldn't say for the most part it's bullish until we get above 234. There's not a whole lot of action here. Last Friday did finally but allow Tesla to continue to move and fall over. But yeah, bearish from the daily perspective. Bullish, I would say, if we can get above maybe 260 region here, but I would probably expect a dead cat bounce, reject 210, and continue to fall over. And yeah, so now we're going to take a look at Microsoft. Whoops, that's not what I was looking for. There we go. So Microsoft, we did hold above, somewhat bullish. Again, 100% retracement zone. We did hold above the 213 level. I thought it was going to head lower here, which would be the next support of roughly 208. But buyers were able to step up, push Microsoft back above this, resistance level of I would say this is what, like 227 region here. Again, full 100% retracement, if not more. We're waiting to see Indecision Doji. So again, we rejected the 236 low, which led to the sell-off. We bounce off this support here. I should probably move this a little higher, but we'll just leave it, 213 low, which is lower low than this, right? Falling over. We rejected 236. So we could either continue to hit this resistance zone again, flush back down, or we can possibly gap down tomorrow, and we'll see, and continue moving lower, and for the most part, but this could be, right? Anything's possible. On a 4-hour time frame, we could have an inverted head and shoulders, left shoulder here, right? We have the V here, right? Maybe V, right shoulder here, and then possible retest on neckline and continue to move up. That could also be a likelihood scenario for Microsoft, but until we get above 236, I would consider this bearish. And, anything below 226, again, all lows, more selling pressure to take place. Facebook, I don't know why it's giving me the wrong one. Or not Facebook, Meta, excuse me. Um, let's go to the weekly or daily. Ever since that earnings call, kind of indecision, not a whole lot of movement. This with the, I guess the market is kind of or Meta is kind of recuperating this massive selling pressure that's taking place. I wouldn't expect it to fill this gap anytime soon. I think it's still digesting the overall news that it came of it. So if we want to be, I mean, I wouldn't really, do anything with Facebook or Meta. I keep forgetting the name. Um, we'll just wait and see exactly if the market can creep itself back up. But this man selling pressure, I'm not really expecting a whole lot of action with Meta, so we're gonna go ahead and leave that. Then AMD and Nvidia. So Nvidia, or not Nvidia, AMD kind of showing a little bit of strength, a little bit of bullish movement for the most part. Not necessarily speaking, we're kind of struggling above the $60 region, right? And if I go ahead and draw out the trend lines, we were sitting sideways for quite some time, from 60 all the way to 57, the low of 54, but we're kind of been chopping around this region. We finally managed to break up since last Thursday, and we're kind of sitting higher than expected. But if I go ahead and draw out my trend line here, right, we kind of have somewhat of an upward channel possibly, or maybe a bear flag, right? But again, it's kind of struggling to hold above $60 region. Although it's kind of bullish since it did retest and hold above 60, it's still kind of chopping around somewhat. But the next level I'm looking for would be 66. Above 66 is resistance, right? We filled this gap. The next resistance level will be roughly $70. Let me go ahead and move this up. Roughly $70 here, right? But for the most part, pretty bullish. This could be a bear flag scenario as well. So maybe we reject $66 and fall back down to retest this the $60 region here. But that is AMD for you. And of course, if we crack below 58, the next low would be $50, right? So Nvidia. Oh, whoops. So I apologize if I keep typing it up incorrectly. But here we go, finally. Last one is Nvidia, another chip company, right? Extremely bullish, leading a lot higher than the AMD is. Obviously, not obviously, excuse me, shouldn't say that. Well, ever since we tagged this low, buyers were able to step up and push Nvidia higher, especially above the 140 region, which was kind of like resistance for quite a while since August. But since we did retest and close above it, I would say for the most part it's pretty bullish compared to AMD. And they do have earnings next week. I think it's next Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe it's just an earnings hype that is pushing, allowing buyers to push up. But with that being said, pretty bullish. We kind of have an upward channel here as well. Whoops, I didn't mean to draw that. We have let's go to the smaller time frame, actually make it a little easier. Upward channel here. Actually, yeah, kind of bullish trend. Let me zoom out. There you go. That's better. Here we go. Now I can draw better, right? We kind of had this upward channel going on here, right? For the most part, it's not pretty, but point is that it's heading upward channel here, right? Bullish trend. Right, George W. Cup and handle formation, cup handle, retest of here, push higher, above 140, pretty bullish. As long as above 140, I'd say it's pretty bullish. And from the daily perspective, the next resistance level would be what is this number here? 158 region, 160. So definitely leading a lot more than AMD is, but since they're both chip sectors, this one's fairly bullish and leading more than AMD is. But again, bullish above 140. If we close back down here, kind of like choppiness sideways, that's kind of what I expect more. And that's pretty much it for this video. So again, a lot of indecision across the market. Again, I'll give you guys both bullish and bearish reasons. It's kind of, buyers are not letting the market close any lower, but CPI data could only influence whether or not the bears or bulls will take over the market. So again, above 390, bullish for SPY in the tech sector. Below 370, again, chop fest, expecting lower. But for the most part, a lot of indecision, all these patterns forming out. So we'll see which patterns play out. But again, indecision, I think both sides are winning, right? But as far as the long term, I can only say that maybe we're going to see more downfall. Maybe there's still going to be inflation data that are bad. It has to be consistent lower readings for inflation data in order to see the market change, right? Because this is from from a monthly perspective, right? It's not going to change within like a week or so. It's going to take some time, right? So with that being said, we'll see how the rest of the year looks. So CPI data Thursday, 8:30 in the morning. I'll make a video about that and we'll see how the market reacts to that. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like down below. Any questions, comments, or maybe some suggestions as well to my YouTube videos. I'll greatly appreciate that. And again, I'm not trying to confuse you guys. I know I mentioned a lot of patterns, but that's just what I'm seeing. Again, it's still a lot of indecision, right? But I don't mean to confuse you guys and stuff like that. So, we'll see what the market does, right? And I don't mean to go back and forth with my opinions as well. I'm only going with what the market is presenting me. As traders, you don't want to always be stuck on one side. You want to look at both sides of the coin, right? I was bullish in this, now I'm bearish here, but I also said, hey, you know what? This pullback is kind of decent. It's not that bad. It's still holding well 370. It's 50% retracement, right? I'm always adjusting with the market, so of course my opinions are going to change, but overall consensus that it is a lot of indecision. Again, 390 above bullish, below bearish 370, right? So we'll see. But yeah, I don't mean to keep on rambling. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys later on this week. If not this Friday, maybe more than likely Sunday. And yeah, I'll keep you guys up to date with CPI data. So hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a good night. Peace.